Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Amanda and this is Soul Care. On this channel, I usually do videos about tarot and oracle, journaling, and I basically talk about any other spiritual related topic that I feel drawn to talk about. Forgive me, I'm very tired. My daughter just turned 18 months, and with that, she's been going through a pretty terrible sleep regression. So we're just trying to figure that out, and I'm not getting very much sleep. I just wanted to give you a heads up about that. Today, I wanted to quickly come on and do a video about my spiritual practice lately. I guess like throughout the summer, it's been my spiritual practice and the decks that I've been using and the books that I've been reading, basically. With the young daughter, I have been struggling to really maintain a consistent spiritual practice. There are some daily things that I do, and I get a lot of gratification from that, and I'm comfortable in my spiritual practice just doing these few daily things, at least at the moment. So we'll basically start from there and then we'll proceed from that. So there are some daily practices that I do. I created a daily triple goddess spread, so I'll put that on the screen right now so you can kind of see what I do. So I will draw an oracle card, and that'll be like my main theme for the day, the main energy that I'm working with. And then I have my maiden, mother, and crone positions that I'll draw one tarot card. Sometimes it's more depending on what wants to come out, but typically it is only one card per position. And I will sit and journal with those cards. Sometimes I will do it right away, and sometimes I will come back at the end of the day or even the next day to journal about those cards, and that really depends on the day and what's going on. I don't typically use tarot spreads. This is actually quite a new thing, but I do like creating my own tarot spreads, basically. It's just another way for me to work with a god or goddess, and it's just another way for me to honor them as well. So I've been really enjoying creating my own tarot spreads. I am currently trying to create one for Persephone, but it's not completed yet. One core aspect about my spiritual practice is DD work. I have been doing DD work for quite a while now, since I started with tarot, and I work with Hekate quite closely. I also work with Apollo, and right now Persephone, although she isn't although she's not here every single day. I don't work with her every single day. Same with Apollo. To be honest, I've worked with him like in 2019, and I haven't been feeling very drawn to him lately. I'm more drawn to Hekate, and I think that's just the stage that I'm in my life right now. And I'm just really attracted to the feminine, and it really goes with the themes of my life at the moment, as opposed to, working with a masculine deity. Another core aspect about my practice is I've been working out 2 to 3 times a week, and I like to dedicate my workouts to Apollo. When I'm working with Apollo, I tend to focus more on myself and take better care of myself. I tend to, I'll go into a hot tub and relax. I relax more, and like I said, I just take better care of myself, honestly. I do find him to be a very energizing energy. Sorry, my throat is it's early in the morning right now, so I know a lot of people work with him as a father figure. I don't experience his energy that way. He fits in almost like a romantic archetype, being, the god of poetry, music, art, So I do experience him as more of like this romantic energy. He's kind of flirtatious and playful. I feel like he would serenade you. He's just that type of energy. And he's also a very energizing and uplifting energy. And he can also be very healing. I spent the whole month of June basically working with him, doing healing work, and he brought a lot of things from the unconscious to the conscious as well. So we spent, like I said, we spent the whole month just dealing with all of that stuff. And now I just basically will work with him basically on bettering myself physically and mentally and emotionally, but mostly just physically, working on exercise and eating better as well. Hekate is a very different energy. I experience the two of them very differently. I find Apollo to be a lot more direct, which makes sense. He's the divine masculine. So energetically, he's a lot more straightforward than her. Hekate she'll leave little breadcrumbs basically to help you, help assist you on your path. And in the past too, how I started working with him was kind of unusual. I expressed an interest in working with him, and very quickly, I'd say maybe as quick as the next day, I started getting signs from him. I would see his name everywhere on social media, on YouTube. His myths would be everywhere as well. And there was one time I was sitting at my desk and I had a container of bio oil on it. And when I moved the bio oil, I literally saw his laurel wreath that he wears on his head. I saw it in oil on my desk. I also had a job interview that week, and I was ordering an Uber to get back home because at the time I didn't have a vehicle. And I look over on my map and I see a business named Apollo. So I just thought that was really interesting. Just the synchronicities were a lot more direct and straightforward. I would also get his name. His name would pop up in my head basically without me thinking about it. That happens a lot actually with a lot of different deities that I work with. Hekate was very different. So I knew from 2019 onward that I was dealing with almost like a femme fatale energy. And I recognized that whoever this energy was or entity, they were sending me spiders. And then when I looked up the meaning of the spider, they're connected to the divine feminine and the shadow self. So I knew that about them, and then it wasn't until I moved into where I live now that I realized that it was Hekate. And I basically found this out by using, oh my gosh, what are they called? A pendulum. I used my pendulum. I remember Googling what deities send spiders, and I finally found an article that a lot of people basically who work with Hekate closely see and recognize that she sends them spiders. So I was on a limb. I just asked the pendulum if it was her, and she confirmed that it was her. So then I ended up I think I petitioned her, or I expressed an interest in working with her. And then I think the next day I was playing a video game. I play a particular video game with my husband. And I think I was in the video game and I heard a dog howl. And I don't typically hear dogs howling in the game, so I thought that was interesting because that is one of her signs. You'll hear dogs howling. So I started working with her on the new moons for manifestation. That was one of the things that she encouraged, is learning about the moon phases. And still to this day, another thing that she wanted me to work on is sigils as well. So I'm sorry, I'm just jumping ahead. So what I ended up starting off with is I just did a lot of research. There's so much information about her on YouTube and on the internet. There's so many articles about her, and a lot of this information it didn't resonate. So it wasn't until I found Cindy Brannon. She's an author. She's written quite a few books about her. I think I just went on Amazon and I was just looking for a book about her. I wanted to learn more about her. And I forgot to mention, when I started, because I took a break from tarot while I was pregnant, and then I got back into it in the new year, so of 2023. And I was just obsessed with herbs. I couldn't drop herbs. I just was looking them up and researching them, and I just wanted to know everything I could about herbs and what they meant. And funny enough, Hekate is associated with a particular witchcraft. It's plant spirit witchcraft. So I found a book, Entering Hecate's Garden, that Cindy Brannon wrote about her. And I was intuitively drawn to it just by the cover. I feel like Hekate drew me to her. Like, she basically, I feel like she guided me to her. And this book is phenomenal. I learned so much information about Hekate, and she also has a YouTube channel as well, by the way. So I just learned so much information about her from Cindy Brannon. And like I said, a lot of the videos on YouTube, they just didn't resonate with me. I didn't experience her energy that way. And I think one of the reasons why is a lot of people work with her as a goddess of witchcraft, and that is a huge part of who she is. But she's more than that too. Even when I found out, to be honest, that Hekate was a guide. She's been a guide. I'm pretty sure she's been one of my guides since birth. I thought, what's the point in working with a goddess of witchcraft without being a witch? But honestly, after I started working with her and I learned that she's associated with so many different things, I realized that was actually a very limiting view of working with her, that you can work with her on so many different things and on so many different levels as well. So, and like I said, I connect with her as a mother goddess, as the Anima Mundi. I experience unconditional love from her and affection. I find her to be extremely affectionate. One of my personal experiences with her as of late is whenever I'm, showing gratitude or affection towards her, if I'm just thinking about her, I can feel a physical sensation, almost like I'm being hugged, or like a mom, how they just kind of, or almost like a mom wrapping her arms around your shoulders, or just touching you, caressing your shoulders. It's a very loving, affectionate feeling that I get from her. I understand, like, some people have expressed, like, she can be kind of, like, she'll give you a slap on the wrist if you're doing something different or wrong, I should say. I don't experience her like that at all, and I don't think that I will experience her like that, because that is not something that I respond positively to. And that's for various different personal reasons. I don't think that we have time today to get into those, so I'll spare you those details. But like I said, I do find her to be this incredibly motherly, maternal, nurturing, and very accepting energy. And even in the myths, they refer to her as tender-hearted Hekate. She is very much just a very loving and maternal goddess. And it makes sense once I learned, like, she's the anima mundi, or she's been connected with that, with the soul of the world, basically, and that everything is birthed from her cauldron, and it's a huge aspect of who she is, and I truly believe that she loves everything on this planet, and she'll help us. You just have to be willing to ask. She feels also very old. And I know that this is a lot of people talk about that, but she does feel incredibly old, and she feels incredibly mysterious too sometimes. She is definitely a goddess of mysteries, so that's how I experience her energy. There's also sometimes when I invoke her, there's this heaviness to her. It's not a scary feeling. It doesn't cause dread. It's just there's like a thickness to her energy. And just pure mystery. And I think it makes sense as the soul of the world, as the gatekeeper, right? She is guarding the world's secrets too. I started researching her. I just realized that it, like, a lot of these things clicked. It made sense. A lot of these aspects about me. Now I just kind of want to talk about Persephone. So she initially came in as the spring goddess, I'm pretty sure. I had experiences with her early in spring with her husband Hades. However, I've never really been drawn to Persephone, and I wasn't quite drawn to her at that time either, so I just kind of left it. I was very deep into my work with Hekate at the time, so I was very focused on that. And then around Beltane, she came back around very strongly, and honestly, she felt it was very fitting. The energy of Beltane and her just went very well together. And when I'm working with a new god, I like to do a tarot reading with them. I like to know what to expect, like how they like to communicate with me, why they're here, basically, what they have to teach me, etc. And I usually draw court cards when it comes to how they manifest to me energetically, and I pulled the Queen of Wands for her. And it is very much how I experienced her energy at the time. It was very Beltane, honestly. It was very passionate, full of life, almost like this lust for life. But she took the natural fiery qualities that the Queen of Wands possesses and she softened them. There is this softness to Persephone, and it's not weak. I don't want you to interpret that as weakness. She's still incredibly strong and powerful. But there's almost this fragility to her. It's like, it reminds me of lace, like the fragileness to life. There is this softness or gentleness to her that I really do appreciate. So I basically worked with her for about a month, and then I think I moved on. I think it was to Apollo, as I mentioned in June. I was working with him. And then lately, I'd say the past 2 weeks, she's come through again very strongly. This time, honestly, she's come through as a face of the triple goddess. I work, like I said, I do a daily triple goddess spread. I work with the triple goddess. With Hekate, that's one of the things that I work with her as a face of the triple goddess. And her energy has been slightly different. This time it did feel like we're preparing for the fall, where she's been sending me very strong messages about transformation, and she was always here to do transformation work with me. But it's just, it feels like there's a bigger push this time. She's really pushing me, encouraging me to really work with her, and so is Hekate. She's encouraging me to work with her as well. And Persephone, I'm pretty sure, has been sending me moths. I'm seeing pomegranates as a huge sign that it's her, as well as I'm smelling flowers randomly. I've never had an experience with a spirit or a deity like this, so. And we don't have any windows open. I don't have any flowers in my home. My husband's having really bad allergic reactions, so I'm just avoiding having any plants or flowers in the home. So, and we're keeping the windows closed for that reason. So I just thought that was very interesting that I'm smelling flowers randomly. I'm just trying to think. I think that's all that I wanted to say in regards to the deity and the deity work that I do. So some of the decks. So I'm just going to flip you over and then we're going to start talking about the decks. So a deck that I used quite often in June while I was still working on my ancestral grimoire during the lunar magic theme was the Soul Cats Tarot. So this deck has a lot of lunar energy to it. It's also cats, and I absolutely adore cats. I grew up with cats pretty much my whole life. My mother is very connected with cats her whole life pretty much. So I have this affinity towards cats. I have a lot of really amazing memories with kitty cats, and I just absolutely adore this deck. I'm planning on working with it again in the fall because it does have a very witchy, very autumn feel to it. And sorry, I usually would flip you around, but the lighting is just terrible right now, so I can't really, and I have to film now because my daughter is going to be up soon and I don't know if she's going to nap. And I'm very tired in the evenings. A deck that I've been working with Apollo, I forgot the name, but I will put it on the screen now. This deck has a lot of masculine energy, and it is very solar. So I do think that this complements his energy. If you're new to my channel, I like to dedicate decks to the deities that I work with. I will only use these decks with them. And I try and choose something that really resonates with their energy. And like I said, I find this to really resonate with his energy. I usually keep this on a sacred space that I set up for him. Another deck that I've been really enjoying using, I purchased this to work with Persephone the second time around, but unfortunately I realized soon after unboxing it, it doesn't resonate with her. I can't tell you if you're going to experience it the same way. Just for me, it did not resonate, and I was actually quite shocked and disappointed. But once I got over my initial disappointment, I just have such a beautiful experience with this deck, and it took me just understanding that I can't force it to be something that it's not. And then I came to really just appreciate it for what it is, but it just felt more masculine. It felt too masculine to really resonate with her. I could see myself using this with maybe Hades. Honestly, I feel an energy coming through, and I only work with family members that have passed on, ancestors, and deities. I'm very selective about who I work with on my path. And I'm not open to random spirits coming around. I work with Hekate for protection as well. I forgot to mention that. I find her very protective of me, like a mother. And we don't allow anything in here that I'm not okay with. And I honestly think that my uncle who passed comes through this deck to speak with me. And he doesn't usually do that. He's not typical like to do that. He's a protective energy, but very much from afar. Like, he will only step in if you ask him. So I think it's very interesting that I think he's coming through with this deck. So I'm thinking of working with him using this deck. There's a lot of decks here. What else? Which one? Oh, the Magical Dogs Tarot. I worked with this deck in June as well. As I mentioned in my Hekate decks video, I purchased this around the time that I was working very closely with her, and I know she has an affinity for dogs, so I just thought, well, honestly, I started having a strong affinity for dogs after really working with her. So I purchased this deck, and it's a wonderful deck. Honestly, it reads really well. It's a beautiful deck. It was created by two people who love dogs, and you can feel their love for the dogs in this deck. It is a pretty positive deck. There are some sad images in it, like this one. I don't even know if it's focusing. There you go. But I do like some of the interpretations are different. Hold on, let me see if I can find. Sorry, there's a lot of reversals. Like, this is an interesting interpretation of the Six of Swords here. I really like it. It gave me a different opinion of the card, or how to work with that energy as well. The Seven of Sky as well. Let me see if I can find it. It's a really interesting interpretation of the Seven of Swords here as well. And they changed the Devil card to the Trickster card, which I don't experience the Devil as a trickster archetype, but I just thought that was interesting as well. The Devil to me is like, it's the liberator, to be honest. Like, you think of Dionysus. Not a trickster. I've been working with the Crystal Visions Tarot. I originally worked with this with Apollo. If you work with Apollo and you're looking for a deck for him, this might be a great option for you. I just find it very feminine, but it does have that fiery warmth to it that I very much experience when I work with him. It's a deck that I like to come to if I just feel like I need a warm hug. Particularly on like a cold winter day. I find that I'm very drawn to this deck on those cold winter days. So another deck that I've been working with is the Herb Crafter's Tarot. And I just recently started edging it. It needs another coat, but I actually worked with this in the early spring as well to connect with Persephone as the spring goddess. So if you are looking for something to work with Persephone, this could be an excellent read. It could be an excellent deck for you. And also it has a pomegranate. I could even see you working with Demeter with this deck. And I use this even with Hades because I know Hades, honestly, he works a lot with Persephone, or things that are associated with Persephone anyway. So, talking about Persephone, the Orion's Animal Tarot is what I ended up working with her now using. Oh, it's reversed. It's not 100%, to be honest, but I felt like I had something in my collection that could work better than the Antique Anatomy ended up working. So, and it is this deck. She comes through pretty well with this deck. And I've been enjoying connecting with her using this deck as well. It has, you know, the animal images with the dark background. It does kind of have that duality that she has that I thought the Antique Anatomy would work well for. So now I'm going to go into the decks that I have in my tray. So I purchased this to work with the Flow Tarot, and I have been enjoying working with both these decks together. Oh, they complement each other really well. I'll show you side by side. This is the Sea Soul Journey Oracle cards. I just got them on Amazon. And they just go so well, like I said, with the Flow Tarot. And the Flow Tarot I just got on Etsy. It's an independently produced deck. It is expensive, so there's just a heads up on that. But I do think that it's worth it. It's not bad cardstock. It's a little, well, actually it's quite thick, so it's not very bendy. I don't ripple shuffle though, so you might want to just do some further research on that. If you do like to ripple shuffle, I can't. It hurts my hands, to be honest with you. And I've been enjoying using this in the summer. Let's see, what else do I have here? So I bought this along with the Antique Anatomy Tarot to work with Persephone. And they do complement each other, those shoe decks. I'll show you actually side by side. Here you can see. They both have that vintage feel to it, and it has botanicals, so I just thought the two would complement each other. And I've been enjoying using this with the Antique Anatomy Tarot, using my daily Triple Goddess spread. And I like to use it just to have an idea of what my main energy that I'm working with that day is. So a new member of my collection, I just got this one earlier this week, is the Mystical Manga Tarot, and I have been really enjoying it. It reminds me of that video game that I play with my husband that I mentioned earlier. What I didn't realize is it has almost steampunk vibes to it, and it could just be the association with the video game that I'm talking about, but I don't know, I'm really enjoying working with it. I'm excited to get to know it better. It's reading very well, and I just thought that it really complemented the summer energy that I'm experiencing currently. And I am like an anime nerd. I love anime and manga. Last but not least, I have the Seed and Sickle here. So I used this a few times the past couple of months in summer. the Seed and Sickle Oracle. So this deck, like I said, with my daily triple goddess spread, I like to pull this as the oracle card. And I also use this to connect to Persephone as well. So this is also a great option if you don't mind that it doesn't have keywords and you have to use the guidebook, unless you just know the herbal associations. You can use this intuitively as well, honestly, if you know the herbal associations. Okay, and I have been using, like I said in my Hekate video, I dedicated the Botanical Oracle. I got this on Etsy. Actually, no, this is an independently produced deck. It's on Etsy, but I was able to find it on sale at a local, oh my gosh, the word is on the tip of my tongue, metaphysical store. So I pull a card, like I mentioned in my Hekate video, I pull a bunch of cards when I need a quick message from Hekate, because I only use this deck with her. She very much likes it that way. So why don't we do a collective reading from Hekate here? Just a collective. Yeah. I wish I could flip you around. Well, let me just see if I can try. Okay, I tried to flip you around, but it did not look great because the lighting is just not great at the moment. So I will take a picture of it and I'll put it on the screen next to me. Okay, so basically I can see that you're on a healing journey. You're going through a transformation right now, but you are starting to feel empowered. You are really coming into your own, and you're feeling stronger than ever right now. You're connecting with your feminine energy. You're connecting with your emotions and your intuition. I can see that. Maybe you're losing weight. I can see that too. You're eating healthier. You're very focused on the natural too, and finding natural remedies. And I can see like there's a huge message about you being on a healing journey here. And you're really embracing your power as a woman, or embracing your feminine energy, I should say. If you're not a woman, you are feeling incredibly empowered. You're feeling strong finally. And that, I'd say, the last couple of experiences that you've had have been incredibly empowering and transformative. Let's see if there's anything else. I'm just using the Orion's Animal Tarot here. Page of Wands. So you could be a fire sign, or you're really embracing your passions at the moment. You're exploring new passions, and I just feel like this is a time of exploration and enjoyment, and I do feel that you're feeling incredibly empowered. You finally feel comfortable in your skin or within yourself. And like I said, you are feeling very adventurous, and you're exploring new areas of your life. You're exploring new areas of yourself, your passions. Maybe you're exploring new hobbies. And I just feel such a passion and drive within you. Excitement. I feel a lot of excitement coming from you. And this is so wonderful. I'm happy for you. This feels like a wonderful period in your life. And these are all such great messages, and I'm happy to have been able to connect with you in this way. Let me know in the comment section below if you enjoyed this video and if you want more videos like this. I am planning on doing a dedicated video, maybe on deity work or just my experience with Hekate, walking with Hekate. Oh, books. I was going to talk about books. You know what? I think I'll do a separate video on books because I am still reading them. I haven't finished any of the books. Mom life here. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry everything's so chaotic. I'm pretty tired, so I'm having a hard time. So things might feel a little chaotic or random at the moment. I'm just going to try to upload when I can, when I get some time to myself, honestly. Thank you so much for understanding. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.